Hi friends, I hope you're all feeling good today. I can't wait to tell you this story. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button so you never miss a video. Me and Jeffrey. We were together about a year and a half when everything blew up. I live in Rapid City, South Dakota. Moved here after high school when my parents relocated for my dad's work transfer, and I just stayed. I've got my own place, this little duplex off Mount Rushmore Road, where the walls are so thin I can hear my neighbor Philip fighting with his fantasy football league on speaker every Sunday night. My side has a tiny concrete patio out back that faces a gravel alley and a chain link fence, and that's become my thinking spot, which basically means my angry sitting in the dark spot at this point. I've got a steady thing going with my job, nothing I need to get into, but it covers my bills and the note on my 2020 Hyundai Elantra, which is the first car I financed on my own, and I will throw hands over that vehicle. My life is small, but it's mine, and I put it together myself. And that matters to this story because Jeffrey had this way of making everything I built feel like it wasn't quite enough. So here's where it starts. Jeffrey and I met through a mutual friend at a cookout in June, almost 2 years ago. And looking back, this detail matters. He'd just gotten out of a long relationship. I didn't know the full timeline at first, but eventually he mentioned his ex and said they'd broken up maybe 2 months before we met. Almost 4 years together, and then she moved to Sioux Falls for some opportunity, and they couldn't make it work long distance. I remember thinking 2 months seemed fast to be at a cookout flirting with someone new after a 4-year relationship, but he was charming and attentive, and I figured everyone moves at their own pace. The first few months were intense in a way that felt amazing at the time, but looking back gives me a weird feeling. Jeffrey was very into posting about us, constantly. Instagram stories of us at restaurants, tagged photos from every date. He even posted a picture of my Elantra once with some caption about how he loved riding shotgun in his girl's car. And at the time, I thought it was sweet. I thought, wow, this man is proud to be with me, he wants everyone to know. But here's the thing. He was posting about us publicly while simultaneously keeping me invisible to his actual family. And that contradiction is something I should have paid more attention to, but I didn't because I was happy and stupid and thought I was in love. Jeffrey lives about 15 minutes from me, closer to Box Elder, in an apartment his family helped him get, and his family is very present in his life. His mom, Lily, calls him every day, sometimes twice. His dad, Arthur, has opinions on everything from Jeffrey's apartment to his dinner plans. His older brother, Kenny, is 2 years ahead, and they're attached at the hip. Not in a cute way. In a Kenny calls at 10 p.m. and Jeffrey gets up off my couch and leaves way. Because Kenny said so. I tried to be cool about it forever. Told myself that's just how tight families operate and I should appreciate a man with strong ties. Because my own dad, Jerry, is very involved in my life and I see him basically every week. Family matters. I get it. But there's a line between close family and a family that acts like you're not in the room when you're standing right there holding a gift bag. First time I really noticed something was wrong was about 5 months in. Lily's birthday dinner at their property near Somerset, this house with a big yard and a detached garage Arthur basically lives in on weekends. Jeffrey invited me, and I was excited because I'd only met Lily in passing twice before, both times quick and forgettable. So I went all out, bought her a candle set from a boutique downtown, did my hair, wore this green wrap dress I felt good in. We get there, and nobody acknowledges me for the first 20 minutes. Jeffrey walked straight to the kitchen and left me standing in the living room with his aunt and cousins I'd never met. Nobody introduced me. Nobody asked who I was. I finally walked up to a group and said, "Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm Jeffrey's girlfriend." His aunt Ada looked me up and down head to toe and turned back to her conversation without a word. On the drive home, I told Jeffrey that was uncomfortable, and he said I was being dramatic and his family takes time to warm up. Okay, I let it go. But it kept happening. Every single family thing. Same treatment. Lily talked to Jeffrey the entire time and acted like I was a lamp. Arthur gave me 2 minutes of small talk max and drifted away. Kenny flat out ignored me, which I told myself was his personality, until I watched him be warm and laughing with literally every other person at every gathering. And every time I brought it up, Jeffrey had the same line. I was too sensitive, I was reading into it. Give it more time. And here's a detail that didn't click until much later. During this whole period where his family treated me like air, Jeffrey kept posting about us online, constantly. New photo every week. Stories of us doing stuff around town, at the lake. He was curating this whole public image of a happy relationship while the people who actually mattered to him didn't even know my middle name. I remember one time we were at this overlook near the Badlands. Gorgeous sunset. And he spent 10 minutes getting the perfect photo of us together. Posted it with some long caption about how lucky he was. I thought that was romantic. Now I think about who that post was actually for, and I want to throw up. 8 months in, I was sitting with my dad on his back porch, the one with the uneven boards he keeps saying he's going to fix since we moved here. And I told him about another barbecue at Jeffrey's family where I sat alone at a folding table near the garage for 2 hours while Jeffrey played bags with Kenny and his cousins. Nobody talked to me, nobody sat with me. I scrolled my phone the entire time, and then Jeffrey got annoyed in the car because I seemed bored. My dad got real quiet. He's not the type to tell me what to do, never has been. But he looked at me and said, a man who can't make you comfortable with his own people isn't going to make you comfortable anywhere. That sat with me. Didn't make me leave, but it planted something. Around the 11-month mark, Jeffrey started talking about moving in together, getting a dog, looking at places that split the distance between my duplex and his apartment. And I was into it. I thought things were progressing, that once we were living together, his family would have to accept me as permanent. But looking back at the timing of those conversations, they line up with something I didn't know about then. There was a period around that time where Jeffrey seemed anxious about something, checking his phone more, being distracted when we were together, starting conversations about our future out of nowhere like he was trying to prove something. One night we were on my couch watching TV, and he just randomly started talking about how he could see us together long term and wanted me to know he was serious. And I ate it up because what girlfriend wouldn't? But the randomness of it always stuck with me. It came from nowhere, like he was performing a scene. Then Kenny got engaged to Marla. And look, I have nothing against Marla personally, but the difference in how Jeffrey's family treated her versus me was so blatant it was comedy. Lily posted about Marla on Facebook, calling her my future daughter-in-law. Ada was taking Marla shopping in Sioux Falls. Kenny and Marla and Jeffrey hung out constantly, and I was never invited. One time, Jeffrey left his phone on speaker when Kenny called, and I heard Kenny ask if Jeffrey was coming to dinner, and Jeffrey said yeah, and Kenny went, "Just you right," and Jeffrey looked at me sitting right there on his couch and said, "Yeah, just me. Just you right." I was not letting that go. I told Jeffrey I heard what Kenny said, and I wanted to know why his brother specifically confirmed I wasn't coming. Jeffrey got quiet, and then the excuses started. Kenny's apartment was small. It was a casual thing. Then he switched to Kenny wanting to discuss something private about the wedding. Then it was that I wouldn't enjoy it because they were just watching the game. 3 different stories in 5 minutes. I told him to pick one and stick with it because he was getting worse with every version, and I wasn't dumb enough to buy any of them. He got mad at me for pushing and told me not everything needed to include me. And yeah, I know that. I have my own life. I go out with Freya, I see my family, I do my own thing. But when there's a consistent pattern where your boyfriend's whole family actively shuts you out and your boyfriend lets it happen every time, that's not about being clingy. That's about respect. And he had none for me. So then, the wedding. Kenny and Marla's wedding was set for October. I'd known about it for months. Jeffrey and I discussed it. I asked about dress code. I started looking at outfits. I assumed I was going because why wouldn't I be? Over a year together at that point. Of course I'm coming to my boyfriend's brother's wedding. About 3 weeks before the wedding, I brought up outfits again. We were at Jeffrey's apartment eating takeout from the Thai place, and I mentioned a burgundy midi dress I'd found at a store in Sioux Falls and asked if it matched the color scheme. Jeffrey got weird, didn't answer right away, and when he did, he was vague, saying he wasn't sure about colors and he'd check with Marla. Strange, but whatever. A week later, I brought it up again. Asked about the color thing and whether we were getting a hotel or driving back because the venue was about an hour out, near some ranch property in the hills. He put down his fork and told me I wasn't coming. Said it like he was reading a grocery list, then followed it up with how couples who do everything together are codependent, and I needed to stop being so pathetic and desperate about wanting to be included in everything, and that it was a family event, and he needed to be there for his brother without having to worry about babysitting me. Babysitting me. I started telling him exactly how messed up that was, and how I was not going to accept being shut out of yet another family event after 18 months, and this man got up from the table, stood up while I was mid-sentence, grabbed his keys and told me he was going to Kenny's and that I needed to calm down and he'd call me later. Walked out while I was still talking. Didn't talk to Jeffrey for 3 days. He texted the next morning completely normal, asking about lunch. I left it. He texted that night saying he hoped I wasn't still hung up on the wedding thing, that he loved me, that family stuff is just complicated. Left him on red. 3rd day he called and I picked up because I wanted answers. He spent 45 minutes doing everything except apologize. Told me the wedding was intimate and the guest list was tight. I reminded him he told me weeks ago there were 150 guests. So which was it? He switched to saying his parents preferred it this way. I asked him flat out if his parents told him not to bring me. And he went quiet for a long time and then said it wasn't like that, they just thought it was better if he came alone to focus on being best man. I told him that made no sense because Marla's sister was bringing her boyfriend, and I knew that from Melena's posts. He told me to stop interrogating him. I told him I wasn't pretending this was fine, that a man who won't bring his girlfriend to a family wedding is a man who doesn't consider her his girlfriend, that if his family had a problem with me, he needed to say what it was instead of hiding behind excuses that changed every time he opened his mouth. He said I was overreacting and he'd make it up to me the weekend after. Like dinner was going to fix being erased from a wedding. Wedding was a Saturday. Didn't hear from Jeffrey all day. No morning text, no check-in, nothing. Told myself I wasn't going to sit around feeling pathetic, so I went to my parents. My mom Angela made chili because October in South Dakota means summer just falls out from under you, and suddenly it's 30 degrees. My dad was watching football. I sat on their couch and tried to act normal. My mom kept glancing at me but didn't push. My dad asked where Jeffrey was, and I said at his brother's wedding. My dad looked at me, then at my mom, then back at the TV. Didn't say a word. The look was enough. Sunday morning, half asleep, scrolling Instagram in bed. I don't follow Kenny or Marla, but I follow a few of Jeffrey's cousins, including Milena, who'd posted a whole carousel of wedding photos. First few slides were normal. Ceremony, venue with the hills in the background, Marla in her dress, Kenny looking happy. Standard wedding stuff, then the reception photos, Jeffrey, my boyfriend, on the dance floor, slow dancing with a woman I have never seen. And this was not a polite family dance. Bodies pressed together, her arms around his neck, her face against his cheek, and in one photo, her hands were inside his suit jacket holding his back underneath the fabric. Close. Intimate. The kind of close you are with someone you know. Kept scrolling. Photo of them at a table. Her sitting on his lap. Jeffrey's family around them. Glasses raised. Laughing. Celebrating. Lily in the background of one shot, beaming. Arthur with his arm around Jeffrey in another. And this woman right there beside them, like she'd been part of this family forever. Like I had never existed. I screenshot everything, went through Milena's stories and found more. A video of them swaying to something slow, someone in the background going, "Oh." Milena captioned it with heart eye emojis. Called Jeffrey. Voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. Texted him, "Call me right now." Nothing. Waited an hour. Called again. Nothing. Texted saying I saw the photos and he had 5 minutes to explain before I started asking other people. He called back around 4 p.m. Casual, like it was a normal Sunday. When I told him I saw every photo and wanted to know who she was, he laughed. Then told me I was being psychotic and she was nobody and I needed to stop stalking his family's social media like a creep. I told him I wasn't accepting being called psychotic for asking a basic question about a woman on my boyfriend's lap at a wedding I was banned from. I wanted a name. He told me I was embarrassing myself and that this was exactly why he didn't bring me, because I make everything about me. Then he hung up. Then he blocked me. So that's where things stood. My boyfriend of 18 months called me pathetic and desperate. Took another woman to a wedding I was excluded from. His entire family was toasting them and celebrating them. And when I asked one question, he called me psychotic and blocked my number. But here's the thing about me that Jeffrey clearly never figured out. I don't cry into a pillow and move on. When someone does me like this, I go looking for answers and I don't stop until I get them, and I don't care whose feelings get hurt in the process. Because what I did after he blocked me is where the whole thing split open. And what his Aunt Ada told me changed everything. But I need to stop here because it's almost 3 a.m. and I've been typing for 2 hours. I'll update soon. And trust me, you're going to want to hear what came next. Listen, I am personally offended right now and this didn't even happen to me. Because this is the type of man who treats love like a part-time job. He clocks in when it's convenient, posts the highlights, gets the girlfriend title on his resume, and then clocks out the second real life starts. And the thing that makes me want to scream is that women like us will sit there for months making excuses for it. Oh, his family is just like that. Oh, he just needs time. Oh, maybe I need to try harder. No, stop it. If you've been with someone for over a year and his people still treat you like a stranger at a bus stop, that is all the information you need. You are not hard to love. He just never planned on loving you long term. You were a layover babe, not the destination. And honestly, the social media thing makes me sick to my stomach because I know so many girls who fell for this exact same trap. A man will photograph you like you're a model and post you like you're his world, and none of it means anything if the people closest to him don't even know your last name. We gotta stop accepting being someone's online trophy when we're not even being treated like a real person offline. Pretty photos don't mean pretty love, period. First update, so, where I left off. Jeffrey blocked me after I confronted him about the woman in the wedding photos. And I told you guys I wasn't the type to just sit around and cry about it, and I meant that. After he blocked my number, I sat on my patio going through those screenshots over and over. The woman in the photos was pretty, I'll give her that. Dark hair, kind of tall, wearing this navy blue dress that looked like it cost money, but it wasn't the dancing or even the lap sitting that kept pulling at me. It was the way Jeffrey's family was acting around her, Lily had her hand on this woman's shoulder in one photo. Arthur was leaning in, talking to her at the table like she was someone he'd known forever. These are people who couldn't look me in the eye for 18 months. People who made me feel like a trespasser for breathing the same air as them. And here they were treating this woman like she'd always been there. I went through Milena's photos one more time and caught something I'd missed. One of the reception shots had a table with place cards, and I zoomed in as far as my phone would go and could barely make out two names next to each other. Jeffrey and Eliana. She had a place card next to his name. This wasn't some random woman he ended up dancing with. She was his planned guest, seated next to him on purpose, which means Kenny and Marla knew, Lily and Arthur knew. Every single person at that wedding knew she was coming as Jeffrey's date while I was at home on my parents' couch eating chili thinking my boyfriend was at a family event alone. I needed answers, and the only person I had any real connection to in that family was his Aunt Ada. Now Ada is Arthur's older sister, and she basically runs their whole family. Thanksgiving's at her house, she plans the reunions. She probably made those seating charts at the wedding for all I know. She never liked me either, but Ada doesn't like most people, and she doesn't pretend about it. She's blunt, and sometimes a blunt person is exactly who you need when everyone else around you is performing. I didn't have her number, but she'd accepted my Facebook friend request months ago, and never once interacted with anything I posted. I sent her a message, kept it short. Told her I saw the wedding photos. Jeffrey blocked me when I asked about the woman in them. And I just wanted one honest answer from someone in this family, because nobody else would give me one. Didn't expect a reply. Figured she'd either ignore me or forward it straight to Lily. But Ada wrote back about 3 hours later, and what she told me cracked the entire thing wide open. The woman in the photos was Eliana, Jeffrey's ex. They were together almost 4 years before me, and according to Ada, the breakup happened because Eliana moved to Sioux Falls for a work opportunity, and they couldn't handle the distance. But the family never let it go. Lily especially. Lily adored Eliana, kept in contact with her even after the split, treated the breakup like a temporary setback that would fix itself eventually. And here's the part that messed me up. Ada told me that the entire time I was with Jeffrey, Lily had been telling the extended family that Jeffrey and I weren't serious, that he was just passing time until Eliana came back around, and that Jeffrey had told the family we broke up months ago, and that the reason was that I had been cheating on him. I have never cheated on anyone. Not Jeffrey. Not anyone before him. Not ever. This man invented a whole story about me being unfaithful, so his family would feel comfortable dismissing me, and so he could bring his ex to the wedding without a single person asking questions. He didn't just exclude me, he rewrote reality and made me the villain of a story I didn't even know was being told. I read Ada's message twice, then 3 times. I was so angry my hands were shaking, but not the scared kind. The kind where your body has too much energy and needs to put it somewhere. I needed Jeffrey talking to me again. He'd blocked my number, and I wasn't about to make a fake account or borrow someone's phone, because that's not who I am. So I did the one thing I knew would force his hand. I went to Milena's wedding carousel on Instagram, and I left a comment, right there publicly. Something along the lines of gorgeous photos. Does anyone know who the woman with Jeffrey is because I'm his girlfriend of 18 months and I'm confused since he told me I couldn't come to the wedding? Posted it at about 9 p.m. on a Sunday. By 9:07, my phone was ringing from an unknown number. Jeffrey calling from Kenny's phone because mine was still blocked, and he was big mad. He went off immediately about how I was trying to humiliate his family and that I had no right to post that, and I needed to take it down now. I told him I wasn't deleting a thing until we had a real conversation. He kept going, saying Milena had already called Lily and everyone was asking questions, and this was going to ruin Kenny and Marla's wedding memories. I said good. Questions should be asked, especially since he'd been telling everyone I cheated on him and that we broke up when neither of those things were true. Dead silence. Like full-on nothing for 15 seconds. Then he switched up, got soft, told me things got complicated and he could explain everything if I would just take the comment down first. I told him no. Explain first. The comment stays until I'm satisfied. And then he started talking, and you guys need to really pay attention to this part because I almost lost it. Jeffrey told me Eliana reached back out to his family a few months after he and I started dating. Not to him, to Lily. And Lily started pushing Jeffrey to reconnect with her because she felt Eliana was the one that got away. Jeffrey said at first he told his mom no, that he was with me, and he was happy. But Lily kept at it, kept bringing Eliana up, kept showing him things Eliana posted online, kept comparing. I stopped him right there. I asked him directly, when exactly did you stop telling your mom you were happy with me and start telling her we broke up? He tried to give me some vague answer about how it was gradual, and I told him I didn't ask for a poem, I asked for a date. When? He finally admitted it was around 7 months into our relationship. 7 months. Which means for the last 11 months of us being together, his whole family believed we were over. Every time he slept at my duplex, every time we talked about getting a dog, Every time he told me he loved me, his family thought he was single and working on getting Eliana back. I asked him if he'd been seeing Eliana physically. He said no, she was in Sioux Falls, they were only talking. The wedding was the first time they'd been in the same room in over a year. I told him talking is something. Were they calling, texting, FaceTiming? He went quiet and admitted they'd been in regular contact for a few months. I asked him what they talked about, and he told me that wasn't fair and I didn't get to interrogate every conversation he'd ever had. I told him yes, I absolutely do, because those conversations were happening while he was lying next to me talking about our future. So he doesn't get to decide what's fair right now. Then he tried to flip it. Started saying I was part of the problem because I always made his family stuff about me, and if I'd just been cooler about not being invited to things, they wouldn't have had to keep it separate. I almost laughed out loud. I told him he did not just try to blame me for being excluded from his own family when he was the one who lied to them about me. He made that situation, every bit of it. I didn't create the problem. I was the person the problem was done to. Then he tried the emotional angle. Told me he did love me, that what we had was real, that Eliana was just his family's thing, and he got caught in the middle. And I told him that being caught in the middle is when your mom and your girlfriend argue about holiday plans. It's not when you erase your girlfriend from your family's knowledge, invent a cheating story about her, and bring your ex to a wedding with matching place cards while your actual girlfriend sits at home. He kept talking, kept circling back to how Lily pressured him and he didn't know how to deal with it. And I asked him one more thing. I asked him what actually happened between him and Eliana at the wedding. Not the dancing. Everything. And I could tell from the silence that he was calculating how much he could hold back. He said nothing happened. They danced, sat together because that's how the seating worked. She went to her hotel and he went home. I told him that was interesting because in Milena's photos she was sitting on his lap while his family was toasting them with champagne. And that's a weird thing to do with someone who's just sitting in the assigned seat next to you. He got frustrated and started saying I was twisting things and that weddings are emotional and people get close on the dance floor, and it wasn't what I thought. I told him to stop talking to me like I'm an idiot because clearly I am not the idiot in this conversation. I told him the toasting, the place cards, the lap sitting, Lily beaming in the background. None of that happens accidentally at a wedding. That was orchestrated. And I wanted to know by who. More silence. And then he admitted it. His mom. Lily arranged for Eliana to come as his date. Lily made the place cards. Lily told the family they were back together. And Jeffrey went along with it because apparently standing up to his mother one single time in his adult life was harder than maintaining an 18-month lie. But here's what happened next, and this is the part I was building to. I told Jeffrey we were done. Completely done. And he started spiraling, saying he'd fix it, he'd talk to his family, he'd tell everyone the truth. And I told him I wasn't interested in his damage control plan. But then I asked him one final question, because something had been eating at me ever since Ada's message. I asked him why he started dating me in the first place, because if his family was so important to him and Eliana was always the plan, why was I ever in the picture at all? And the way he reacted to that question told me more than his actual answer. He stumbled over himself, started talking in circles, said he liked me and it just happened and things got complicated. I kept pushing. I told him I wasn't hanging up until he gave me a real answer because nothing about the last 18 months made sense unless there was something I didn't know. And that's when he said something that I've replayed in my head every single day since. He told me that when Eliana moved to Sioux Falls, she told him she needed space. Not a breakup, just space. And he didn't take it well. He kept reaching out and she kept pulling back. And he thought, his exact words were something like, I thought if she saw I was with someone else, she'd realize what she was losing. You guys. I was never his girlfriend. I was a prop. He started dating me specifically to make Eliana jealous. Every date, every sleepover at my duplex, every conversation about our future. It was all a performance. He posted photos of us on his Instagram. He tagged me in stories. He made sure we looked happy and public and visible, because the whole point was for Eliana to see it. That's why his family never took me seriously. That's why Lily never bothered learning my name, basically. Because Jeffrey told his mother from the beginning that I was temporary, that he was using me to get Eliana's attention, the talks about moving in together, the dog. All of it was set dressing to make the show look more convincing. I don't even know if he realized at some point it stopped being fake for him or if it was always fake. And honestly, I don't care. Because either way, I spent 18 months being a tool in someone else's love story, and nobody, not him, not his mom, not his brother, not his aunt, thought I deserved to know. But then, 3 days later, Lily showed up at my duplex. And what she said to me standing on my front porch didn't just confirm everything, it added a layer I wasn't ready for. Because apparently Eliana knew about me the entire time too. I need to stop here because I have to be up early. And also that Lily confrontation needs its own space because it was that intense. You know what nobody is talking about right now? The EX. Because we're all so focused on him and his mama. But can we please discuss the fact that a woman sat in another city watching another girl get used as bait and said, nothing? Like girl to girl? Woman to woman? You saw this man posting a whole relationship that you knew was fake and you just let it play out? You just watched some random girl fall in love with your leftovers knowing the entire time she was just your placeholder? That's cold. And here's a take I haven't seen anyone give yet. I actually feel bad for him too. Not in a he deserves sympathy way, but in a wow, this man is 30 and still can't say no to his mom way. Like imagine being so spineless that your mother can rearrange your entire love life and you just go with it. She picks your date. She makes the seating chart. She tells your family your relationship status. At what point are you even a person anymore? Honestly, any girl who ends up with him is just gonna be the next girl mama approves of until she changes her mind again. Last update. I know I said I'd be quicker, but I needed to sit with the Lily thing for a few days because it hit different than I expected, and I wanted to make sure I told it the way it actually happened, and not the way I wish it happened. 3 days after I ended things with Jeffrey on the phone, after he admitted I was basically a prop to make his ex jealous, I came home from grabbing groceries and Lily's white Buick Enclave was parked in front of my duplex. She was in the driver's seat, and when she saw me pull into the gravel, she got out and started walking toward my porch like she had an appointment. I want to be clear. I never gave this woman my address. Not once. Which means Jeffrey gave it to her. The man who couldn't bring me to a single family dinner was comfortable enough handing his mother my home address so she could show up uninvited. I got out of my car and didn't go inside. I was not letting this woman into my home. So we stood on my porch with Philips TV blasting through the wall like background music nobody asked for. Lily started by telling me I needed to leave her family alone, that my comment on Milena's Instagram caused unnecessary drama during what should have been a celebration of Kenny and Marla, that I had no right inserting myself into events I wasn't welcome at, that Jeffrey had been too kind to me for too long and I took advantage of his kindness. I stood there and let her finish every word, because I knew once she ran out of steam, it was my turn, and I had been saving this conversation for 18 months. When she stopped, I asked her if she was done, told her I had things to say and she was going to listen without interrupting. She looked surprised. I don't think she expected pushback. I think she drove 45 minutes to my duplex expecting me to cry or apologize or fold. Wrong girl, Lily. I told her I knew everything. I knew she kept contact with Eliana the entire time Jeffrey and I were together. I knew she arranged for Eliana to attend the wedding as Jeffrey's date. I knew she made place cards with their names next to each other. I knew she told the family I cheated on Jeffrey and that we'd broken up. And then I told her I also knew something she probably didn't think Jeffrey would ever tell me, that he started dating me specifically to make Eliana jealous, and that she knew that from the beginning. Lily didn't deny it. Not a single piece. And that's what surprised me because I expected at least an attempt at a lie. Instead, she stood there on my porch and told me that Eliana was right for Jeffrey and always had been, that Eliana understood their family, their values, that she came from a similar background. And then she said something she clearly thought would shut me down. She said that Jeffrey told her from the very beginning that I was temporary, that he was dating me to make Eliana realize what she was missing, and that Lily went along with it because she wanted Eliana back in the family too. She said they both agreed it was only a matter of time before Eliana came around and I would be out of the picture. So every barbecue where I sat alone, every dinner I wasn't invited to, every time Kenny confirmed, just you right, every time Lily wouldn't look at me, it wasn't that they were slow to warm up. They knew I was a pawn. The whole family knew. They were watching me play house with Jeffrey knowing the entire thing had an expiration date and nobody, not one person, thought I deserved to know. I asked Lily why she was even here, why she drove all the way to my duplex to tell me things that should make her ashamed, not me. And she told me it was because my Instagram comment was making people in the family ask questions, and some of the extended relatives didn't know the full story about me being temporary, and now they were confused and it was causing problems. She wanted me to post something publicly saying Jeffrey and I had broken up mutually so the family could move on without drama. She came to my house to ask me to clean up their mess, to protect their image. After 18 months of treating me like I didn't exist, I told her no. I told her I wasn't posting anything for her family's comfort. I told her that if her relatives were confused, it was because she and Jeffrey built an entire lie and now it was falling apart, and that was their problem, not mine. And then I told her something I'd been thinking about since Jeffrey admitted the truth on the phone. I told her that what she did to me wasn't just cruel, it was pathetic. Because she was so desperate to control her son's love life that she helped him use another human being as bait, that she watched me show up to her family events for over a year trying to be liked, trying to be included, knowing the entire time I was being played. and she never once felt guilty enough to say something. Lily started going on about how I was being dramatic, and that nobody forced me to stay with Jeffrey, and that I should have taken the hint when the family didn't accept me. And I told her, yeah, I should have. She's right about that one thing. I should have looked at a family that couldn't look me in the eye and walked away. But I didn't because I trusted her son. I trusted that when Jeffrey told me he loved me, he meant it. And that's not my fault. That's his. Then she dropped something I wasn't prepared for. She told me Jeffrey was in the car, that he'd driven with her, that he wanted to talk. I looked past her at the Buick, and there he was, passenger seat. This grown man brought his mother to have a conversation he didn't have the guts to start himself. After everything, the lies, the fake cheating story, calling me psychotic, blocking me, he couldn't even get out of a car without his mom going first. And Jeffrey, if you ever find this, I hope Eliana makes your mom happy, because that's who you were really dating for this whole time. And I hope one day you have to explain to someone you actually love why your Instagram from 2 years ago is full of photos with a woman named Ruth who thought you were real. Everybody in this story is worried about how things look, not how things are. Mama drove 45 minutes not because she felt bad, but because the Instagram comment was making the cousins ask questions. That's it. That's the emergency. Not that her son destroyed someone, not that they ran an 18-month scam on a real person with real feelings. The emergency was that people were finding out. And that is the most toxic family trait you can have, caring more about the story than the damage. I grew up around families like this, and let me tell you, they will smile at your funeral if it keeps the peace. But here's what nobody is saying right now. Everybody thinks Eliana won. Girl, what did she win? A man who can't make a single decision without calling mommy first? A mother-in-law who literally auditions girlfriends like it's a reality show? Like, congratulations, babe, you're the chosen one today. But what about tomorrow? What happens the first time you disagree with mama? The first time you don't do exactly what she wants? Because mama didn't pick you out of love, honey. Mama picked you because you fit the plan. And the second you stop fitting, she'll find a new girl and run the exact same play all over again. Eliana isn't the winner here. She's just the next girl in the rotation who doesn't know it yet. Oh, anyway, that's the story. Love you guys. See you in the next one.